Welcome to Two Sisters Podcast with your hosts, Kristy and Melissa, who are real sisters bringing you real talk about life and faith through humor, insight, and community. Now, let's get into this week's episode.
What's up, guys? It's Melissa
and Kristy,
and welcome to Two Sisters Podcast. I'm in a good mood today, guys. I don't know why. I'm just
silly mood.
I am, and usually is the other one. I gotta take 20 minutes to get her to rein her in. But yeah, so today we're in a good mood, and we've just been having some like short interchanges in between us, and one of the things that we wanted to come in and talk about, we want to do kind of like a power moment, and we want to title it "How to Stand Up for Yourself." But you know us, the title might be different by the time I put this
by
out.
the time it's posted. Don't hold it against us.
But the point of it, and the point of it is standing up for yourself. Okay, so we want to give a couple examples. I feel like we could give personal examples so we can make it relatable and what we learn and how we, powered through. So for me, for my example, or you want to go first, Kristy, or you want? Okay. So for my example, it's a couple of things. So as you guys know, especially if you've been following me or listening to our podcast, I was one of the ones that was bullied a lot when I was growing up. So bullying is definitely something that you have to learn to navigate your way through and like kind of find your way and find confidence in yourself, believing in yourself. So one of the things for me is once I got older and once I got into the job force, that world, and even just being an entrepreneur, it takes guts to charge what you're worth. So I believe, like, especially when you come from being bullied and you come from people, outside of my family, people putting you down or making you feel less than, or, just making you feel ugly or that you don't deserve to have nothing. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't have anything because you ain't worth nothing. You don't look like nothing. You shouldn't have nothing. Like, so that was just basically what was thrown at me literally my whole adolescent life.
They don't look like nothing.
Yeah, like, well, that they didn't say it in those words, but children are mean. And so it's just like, you don't matter. Basically, they didn't see that I mattered. They didn't think I mattered, whatever, until they needed something. If I had answers to, questions or something like that, then I mattered, right? Mm-hmm. But on that playground, I was not the first to be picked. I wasn't the, cool kid or whatever you want to call it.
I wasn't either because I slept in sports, every sport.
So, yeah.
I was good at defense only. Like, I could stop you from making the shot.
Yeah, well, for me, I was kind of athletic, but my thing was no one wanted me to be on the team or whatever. So, yeah, so, fought through that. So I learned early, how to navigate through. And so I had to grow up. Like, I had to decide that I didn't want to be that bullied kid, little girl, shy little bullied girl that didn't matter, and that my voice wasn't relevant, that my thoughts didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was good at this too. I dumbed down because I didn't want to be the one that know all the answers all the time. I can't be the smart kid and the ugly duckling, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I just couldn't be. So I would never speak up for myself a lot when I was growing up. So that's what sticks out to me about it was, we talked about this a little bit earlier, like as far as feeling that inner conflict and just dealing with the fact that that this is not your life. Like, I know that there's more for me.
I want to go beat them up right now.
I know that there's more for me. You know what I mean? And I want it. Like, I don't want to be here. And I don't care what they say. Even though it's like, sometimes being a kid, like, you struggle with not believing them, So it's like, I had to go through that. And because of that, as I got older, and because I was trying to find my way, and what was in me, I couldn't stop trying to excel. I couldn't stop dreaming. I couldn't stop, wanting to do the things that was in me. So when I did it, it's like, man, can I charge this? Because I don't know. Like, it might not sell. They might not like it. They may make fun of me. Like, it's that little timid, little scared little girl coming out, And so, yeah, that for me, that was a turnaround or a pivotal moment in my life when I had to literally, stand up for myself and
So how did you actually stand up
charge.
for yourself?
Well, for me, I had to literally stand in the fear, if that makes sense. Like, I had to literally feel the fear, because that's what was stopping me. It would literally stop me, fear. And the fear of failing, the fear of succeeding, and the fear of that I would be that little girl, how people used to pick on me and look at me like I didn't matter.
So what was the mental work that took you in that place in fear, where you have those doubts coming out from childhood, when you're an entrepreneur and you're like, okay, these thoughts of fear and doubt are coming, but I'm an entrepreneur and I want to charge this particular price. So walk us through the mental work in that actual moment to where you overcame and stood your ground. I'm
gonna shorten it because it was
stood up for yourself within yourself.
Yeah, stood up for yourself within yourself, and it's actually literally standing in literally just standing in fear and doing it anyway while you are majorly afraid, like literally shaking, kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's how scared you are. For me, like I said, it was a process, so it wasn't like an overnight thing. I think I would say it took me a couple of years to boldly and firmly, like we said, 10 toes down, not move or waver in my decision of what I believe that I'm going to charge, period, or what I'm going to put out there, because that's another thing. It's like everything that I do is it's like your baby, you know what I mean? Like, it's your art, it's yours. Like, it's coming from a place of you wanting to help people. So when people literally spit in your face, and when I say spit in your face, like, they don't
appreciate
it. And that's really a slap in the face, especially when you work so hard behind the scenes and you sweating and crying, and it's the blood, sweat, and tears and prayer and fasting and all of that goes into it, because it's like, I don't do this for play. You know what I mean? Like, I take it very seriously what I believe God has put in me. So, yeah.
So if there's a mental fight and it's saying you can't do it, then the positive replacement of that would be something like what type of sentence that you said to yourself?
It is, I think first, if we're going in steps, the first thing I had to do was believe. It wasn't saying anything. It was literally me having the heart or the courage to want it more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to want it more, and I had to decide to go after it, no matter how I felt inside, and no matter what I perceived people, because those people probably wasn't paying no attention to me, at 16, 17, 18, 25. You know what I mean? Like, they probably was not looking at me that way, but it was the little girl in me. It's like I had to overcome that. So I think the first thing is just I had to ramp up my belief in myself. And
you got that through experience?
And then it's just a decision. Honestly, I mean, it's that simple. I had to decide. And then I went into, I can do this. You had to
decide what they were saying was a lie.
I had to decide that I want this. What's in me is not going anywhere, and I want it. Like, I'm tired of the fight in me, the inner fight. That's what it was.
To be more than I'm allowing myself to
Exactly.
be. Okay.
Like, could not just sleep. You know, like you've been living with me your whole life. Like it just didn't leave. And I felt almost like tormented in a way. Like I felt like this is never gonna leave me alone. Like never. Like I gotta do this.
Yes, we have been sisters our whole life. So yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so the next thing was, I can do this. That's the next thing I would tell myself. I can do this. And yeah. And then the faith came in. And that was another thing I had to stand my ground on. But we won't go into that because I already took 10 minutes. So.
No, and I think that, I think you could elaborate a little bit more if you want to, and we can wrap up this power moment and we can have a power moment part 2.
Okay, yeah. So for me, the next thing with that in being bullied and then believing in your worth is for me deciding that I wanted more than I didn't. And then me talking to myself, like it wasn't the negative things like I can't do this, they're right, or whatever it is, whatever negative voice that people been saying to you that you start to actually say to yourself. It was like I was not saying it. I was like, I can do this. I am worthy of doing this, and this is in me. It hasn't gone anywhere. And then the next thing for me was standing up for myself in what I believe. And so I know Christian is like loosely, used, but I really am a Christ follower. So it became, and when you first get into it, it's like, I won't call myself radical, but I was definitely, what is the word? Zealous. I was very zealous. Like all in, hands, foot, toes, everything, every strand of hair. Like I was all in, like just really just digging in and wanting to have that relationship. So when that happened, I'm sure I changed to everybody else, and it was good. And then there were people that it wasn't so good because you can't keep doing the same thing you were doing. So yeah, to the point, guys, then this is a true story, that the guy that I was with at the time was like they were jealous that I was hanging with Jesus. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, I'm trying to be nice about it. Like, yeah. So it's just like, they could not accuse me of cheating with a man. They literally was mad that I wanted to strengthen my relationship with God. And that is my pivotal moment when I was like, you crazy, I'm out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that literally was a moment.
You gave him the side eye, like,
yeah, like how you jealous of Jesus? Are you serious? I've never, and that was I would think I was like 24, 5, 6, something in my 20s, mid 20s, and I was just like, yeah, and that was my moment of standing my ground, stand up for myself, because that actually brought out that my sister used to always say the lion, like that woke it up. That woke up the beast, because I was just like, you serious right now? Like, sir, oh, it's over. And I had no reservations, hesitations. I didn't have no like, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings, because at the time they were not in a good place. And it's like, oh, nah, it's not that I didn't care, but it definitely did not hold me from cutting the strings. And when I say I cut the strings, and that was like what my sister was saying before, it was like this burden that lifted, and I felt free, because I was free in my heart, in my mind, in my soul, my spirit. Like, everything about me was free. So it's like I was just coming into my own.
I mean, people laugh at me when it literally, when you are in an unhealthy relationship and you get out of that relationship, it literally feels like you were in a bed. Like you did a bed. Okay? And you walk out and you free.
Yeah. That's literally what happened. And so that's my personal story. Like, I literally went to, and I had no problem with releasing what I felt was put in my heart to do, to help people. However I felt led to help them, I do it with no hesitation and no expectations. Learned that very early. I don't expect anything back from you. If I'm giving to you or whatever, it comes from my heart. And I honestly don't halfway remember anything anyway that I do for anybody else. And then just standing up for myself when it comes to my faith. Like, I'm not giving up my relationship with Jesus Christ for you, period. And I don't care who you are. I mean what I said, and I said what I mean, and I said what I said. Like, that's what it is for me. And that's what it's been for me for 20 years. Ever since that day when I saw that, I mean, I guess it had to happen for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So from that moment on, like, I have no issues with it. And the fact that I literally was abstinent, celibate, whatever word you want to use, and I had no problem stamping it on my forehead, literally, for years. Okay, so yeah, and people do make fun of you. I've been called, even by my family, gay. I was, just all kinds of stuff. People ask me, was I gay? In my family, I'm like, are you serious? All because I choose not to fornicate or have sex before marriage, or I want to be married. Like, something was wrong with me. And because I choose not to marry a fool, okay, something's wrong with me. So yeah, that's my personal.
Those are your multiple examples of standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I'm sure there's people out there that can relate. And, these are just some power moments. We want to keep it short.
Yeah.
And to the point. And of course we can, go on and on and on, but we just wanted to be a quick, powerful thought for you guys and share it with you. And as always, we're rooting for you.
Yeah.
And we will talk with you
soon.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Sisters Podcast, where we hope to encourage you on your journey of transformation and healing while having fun along the way. Follow us on IG and Twitter. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. It's available on all major podcast providers. Just search for Two Sisters Podcast. Till next time.